What is going on, true believers? We got Tom Brady getting roasted for crypto. We've got BlackRock issuing a warning about the US dollar. We've got a Solana expert who thinks that Solana is about to hit its all-time high. We've got 1 billion transactions in Bitcoin. We've got Grayscale having inflows for the first time in 78 days. Does that mean the big reversal is in for the ETFs and that we're going to start to see another supreme pump? I don't know. But we've also got the top 3 tokens for the month of May as predicted by Arthur Hayes. Arthur Hayes, you know him, you love him. I think that's the BitMEX founder. And cool. We've got a pre-sale that's raised $5.5 million. Robinhood received a Wells notice from the SEC. And according to Gary Gensler, we didn't want to Robinhood because it's no security. We know there's security because that ring up doesn't say we're security, even though we don't know what we're talking about. Enforcement, they're using enforcement actions to try to govern, which is, as you know, Gestapo in its tactics. It's par for the course for the Democrats and the SEC, but that's where we are. And then, have you ever been hacked? I know I have. My Twitter was just hacked, not crypto related, but my crypto wallet was hacked in January. And guess what? There is a Crypto Isaac company that's out there right now that says that they can help you and they can make sure that all of this hacking fuckaduckery will not happen to you again. Will that be the case? I don't know, but it's going to be interesting to see. And I'm sure it's for a price. This is not financial advice, but I also have a new I have a new song that I made, fully AI generated, by the way. A lot of fun. I had a lot of fun making it. Now I used some old lyrics that I had that I'd written for a different song and just kind of threw it into AI. So we're gonna go with our disco one more time, but tomorrow we're gonna have a brand new Believes song. I'm just kidding. We're not going to use it all the time, but I am going to play it for you because I got nothing better to do.
It's your boy Believes. Everybody listen up. Let's get it. I'm trying to put money in your pocket. That crypto wallet. That bing bada bing ching ching big profit. Even when the market sideways, I'm looking for ways to get paid. I'm checking my coins around breakfast, then again around bedtime. Bet this, it's not financial advice, but I'm always right. 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 I'm always right.
So this, guys, is what happened to one Thomas Matthew Mogadishu Jones Avocado Toast Brady. He doesn't eat carbs. He doesn't eat like anything. He has a chef that makes all of his stuff, and he lost a ton in cryptocurrency. So before we good morning, and I know you good morning. If you don't good morning, you're gonna good morning. But before we do, let's listen to what Nikki Glaser and her daddy issues say about Tom McGillicuddy Brady.
Tom also lost $30 million in crypto. Tom, how did you fall for that? I mean, even Gronk was like, me know that not real money. Like,
So Nikki Glaser absolutely getting her roast on of Tom Brady for all of the wildness, if you will, that happened. Very, very funny moment. Very, very funny moment. So let's get into the goods right here. If you good morning, then good morning to you. If you don't good morning, I don't care. Good morning to you anyway. J-Lock, good morning. God bless Creamanala. Whatever you do in Allah is up to you. It has nothing to do with me. But good morning, Corvette. Good morning, Brian Bootyhead, Blockchain Bonehead, Mike Volmer in the house. Good morning, Masonic Mike. If you got hacked, if them hacking my Twitter got you hacked and you gave them money, why didn't you give me money? Like, what the fuck? You know what I mean? And by the way, I'll never ask you for money on Twitter. I will never ask you for money on Twitter unless you want a promotion. And then in that case, I'll ask you for money on Twitter. But not right now because it's hacked. Trail Boss says good morning. Napoleon says good morning. Hammerside, good morning. Tony P in the house, good morning. Big announcement coming for Ben today. So maybe we'll see a nice little pump on it. The market looks like it wants to, I would say that the market really wants to run. I think the market really wants to have a breakout moment. I think we're starting to feel that rush, if you will. So hopefully we'll see something big happen here. Richard Caldwell, good morning. We got Aaron Thompson in the house. Jason Pollins, good morning. Jay Manuel, good morning. Kathleen Blaze, good morning. Vader Prime, good morning. Crypto Life Forever. We got Poe in the house. We got Richard Nelson. We got Remington Perot. We've got Real Life Miracle in the house. Yes, sir. Saying yes, sir. Yeah, because all these influencers think the elite are worried about their moves. Yeah, I don't know what that means, but I'm laughing along with you. You know what I mean? Tom Meow Space in the house. By the way, I have some Tom tokens, and worth about $4 right now. So I get a sense that maybe this thing is going to absolutely just blow up at some point. Daniel Delgado's in the house. RW7610 is in the house. Willard Morris is here. Carlos is here. And by the way, good morning and bring on the green candles. We had green candles up until the U.S. market woke up, and then the U.S. market did, U.S. market shit. And here we are. Fun Family is in the house. We've got Carlos in the house. Shane Jordan, good morning. James McEwen, XRP Love. We got Raymond Pritchard in the house. Rob T, good morning, and volting it up this morning. Davey Mack. Rob, by the way, Volt had a nice little run. And I guess you can't see it right now, but I still got Volt stickers up everywhere. I think there was... it had a nice little pump, and then all of a sudden just dumped immediately. A lot of stuff did that, by the way. It did it a little bit before, but Davey Mack is in the house. Good afternoon from Ireland. That's awesome. Thank you so much for tuning in. The fact that you guys tune in to see this show does not fall on deaf ears. By the way, bear down, baby. Bear down. If you're a fan of football. Frank Still, good morning, people. So, guys, let's talk about BlackRock for just a second, because BlackRock has issued a warning, and that warning is that BRICS is coming for the US dollar, of course. So let's check this out. According to a BlackRock report, the bond market has seen some volatility amid the uncertainty around interest rates and the Federal Reserve's monetary policy. On Friday, the 10-year Treasury yield briefly fell below 4.5%. The drop came following a weak jobs report for April and a surprise tick higher in unemployment rates, which is something that the market is wanting to see. You know what I mean? They're looking for it. So hopefully we're getting towards the end and we can start seeing some rate cuts. It's time to start migrating back to fixed income, especially with yields at these levels, said Steve Lapley, global co-head of iShares fixed income ETFs and co-author of BlackRock's paper. With the Fed still working on uncertainty, the market is nearly impossible to timetable correctly. Now, bonds have historically delivered the strongest performance during hold periods, according to BlackRock. Hence, the investment managers advise using bonds to protect the US dollar. It is a very compelling opportunity for investors to get their fixed income side of the portfolio right-sized, Lapley said. Furthermore, BlackRock recommends using a bond fund or an ETF. The company says investors should use a holistic approach, which can include a mix of both to get diversified exposure cheaper for their assets. The US dollar has had a tumultuous 2024, in part due to BRICS intervention. The bloc is actively looking to ditch the US dollar and influence other countries to do the same. With the latest warning by BlackRock to secure your US dollar another way, it's clear that the alliance's mission is succeeding. Inflation and interest rate hikes only further helped the de-dollarization initiative. Now, let's consider, if you will, for just a moment, in the event, and what we're talking about is these 10-year bond yields. The 10-year bond yields are hovering around 4.5%. So let me just say that if you were looking to buy today If you bought bonds, the same as you bought Bitcoin, Saturday, November 6th. Let's, you know what? Let's go back. Let's just not even say that. Let's go back to the original top, which before the biggest move that had happened. Let's go look at that previous top. If you had bought Bitcoin, because and actually the big top on Bitcoin was April 16th of 2021, and it's now May of 2024. So if you bought 3 years ago, okay, if you bought 3 years ago, then we were at 60. This was around 65,000, and today we're trading at 63,956. 63,956. Okay, so if you were trading at 63,956, you are down 0.94% on 1,134 days worth of investment. Bitcoin is down $606. That's a rough estimate, but it is down. So it's down $600 in 3 years for this cycle to where you are now. Is there still upside to it? Yes, there's still upside to it. There's plenty of upside. We're the moon, blah 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 blah. We're still going, but the problem with all of this is if you're a simple investor who's just trying to make a buck in this market and you have capital sitting on the sidelines, you would have made 4.5% per year, or 4% roughly per year on your $10 million investment. Your $10 million investment in Bitcoin today would be down $60,000, just for reference. It would be down $60,000. However, if you had made a $10 million investment in these bond yields, you would be up 12%. So you'd be up $1.2 million. So that's why these companies, and by the way, it's almost guaranteed money. I mean, the government doesn't default, right? And the government is buying back some of these bonds, by the way. So you're going to see, you know, there's big stuff coming here to try to reduce the debt, if you will. But, you know, if you had invested in Bitcoin at the top of May and you just kind of held on to it like, you know, Michael Saylor or something like that, you didn't buy the dip, you didn't DCA, you just bought because you're a rich old person. You're like, throw $10 million in it. 3 years later, you're actually down a few bucks still. Now, of course, you would have probably sold near the top on the last one just to get yourself out and get yourself made whole. But the point still remains, you would have done better. You would have done better if you had gotten into bond yields. And that's what they're trying to tell you, right? And that's what they're thinking about the broader market at this point, is that that's what's getting ready to happen. So it is important to recognize that the bond yield, the market, the way that we're doing these things right now, the way all of it's playing out, as you can see right here, like these are the tops over here. These are the ranges that we have. That's the number right there, by the way, $606. Of, you know, the exact spot where we are right now. But and the market does seem to be turning around. It was up $50 billion a few short hours ago. I woke up in the middle of the night. Miro was at 19 cents. Dog with hat, son of a bitch, tripped my take profit, full take profit. By the way, I don't play around anymore. I don't wait for ups and downs and falls. I take my money. I got on Dog with Hat. I made 400% the other day on a Dog with Hat trade, and I turned $50 into 250 or something like that. And then I put 250 into Dog with Hat one more time for a nice little pump, and I got like a 50% pump from the bottom, and I took profit at 50%. Didn't want to hold on to it for a long period of time. Didn't want to waste, you know what I mean? I wanted to try to protect the capital, if you will. So it was taking a shot that the market was going to start moving positive. Same thing, by the way, on what am I running right now? I still have API 3, which I'm holding on to. I bought API 3 at $2.20 the other day. Not on the total dip here, but I bought it at the 786 line at $2.20. And then I bought TIA a couple days ago at $10.08. Or it was actually $10.10 right here, this entry point right there. If I zoom in, you can see, like, this is where I bought it. And at $10.10, and it had a nice little run up to $10.80. But I think it's going to start to. I think it's starting to have a breakout again. So I'm going to hold on to TIA for an extended period of time. I just kind of see what happens here. Like I get the sense here that maybe this has got some legs, and that maybe we're going to be looking at this $20 number coming up pretty soon. So I'm going to hold that. If it goes to 100% profit, then I'm going to flip that profit. And I'm going to start buying, and I'm going to start getting into and DCA my way into some of these other ones that I'm doing. So, but let's get back into it. If you are worried about your money, then bond yields would have done you a better job right now than Bitcoin. And we refer to Bitcoin as the store of value in this industry. But for 3 years now, it has not been what you've wanted it to be. And we've got Roger Tremino coming in the house with the DevE Launchpad and staking. FIAS is coming. And by the way, if you guys have not already, go look at DevE. I told you guys about this. We did a video about it. It is a green blockchain. And if you note here, it had a nice big pre-sale. It had a nice big move off of that original pre-sale. Then, of course, like everything else, everybody who was in the pre-sale started to dump on it, take their profit, et cetera, et cetera. Now, I got in at 47 cents, currently trading at 58.59 cents roughly at this point, with a $9 million market cap, $467,000 in liquidity. But the important thing is, if you come to the Dev Launchpad, then you've got the Dev Launchpad, where if you want to launch a new token, this is your safe place to launch one. And then you've got this FIAS blockchain. You've got this FIAS protocol, which was rated number 2, by the way, at Cointelegraph, which was unbelievable. It's a launchpad for video games. So here is FIAS, if you will. The Forever Association is proud to share the inaugural launchpad token, FIAS. So if you stake, I think you earn some FIAS, which I think is a kind of a cool system here. You can look at the ecosystem over here and certainly go check this out for yourself. But there's a bunch of stuff that these guys are happening right here. In 2020, Litcraft was ranked the second best blockchain-based game in the world by Cointelegraph. Shortly afterwards, the game was listed on both Apple and Google app stores. In 2024, several years of software development and decades of authoring the lore behind Litcraft, we are finally ready to take the next step in our journey. Litcraft and the wider DFE, which is digital financial ecosystem, have engaged the Forever Association to bring FIAS to market. So if you're looking at this, Litcraft, one of the big games coming out per Cointelegraph that they've reviewed, now has its own token, FIAS. Now, what is it going to launch at? I think the market cap on it was going to be pretty light and pretty low. It did have a, where's that market cap? Give me 1 second here. It's going to launch with a $200,000 market cap. Now, at a $200,000 market cap, match that up with one of these other games, which, I mean, what are some of the other games that are in the ecosystem? Oh my God, my brain can't. Oh, Floki. So Floki has the Valhalla game. Floki has a market cap right now, $1.8 billion. And don't forget, like Axie Infinity has a $1 billion market cap. Guys, if you get into FIAS, you're getting in a $200,000 market cap. What do you think is going to happen with this token if that happens? The Sandbox also at $1 billion market cap. These games, especially games that are ranking high, they're going to have those $1 billion market caps. So FIAS might be the next $1 billion market cap. So if you haven't already, go check that out. It's a DEVVE ecosystem. So certainly an opportune moment for what could be just an incredible run. Also, Solana experts are predicting an impending all-time high as Solana reverses. So the surge has propelled the asset above $142. Now it went to $155 a little bit earlier, currently trading right now at $154.89. Actually, it looks like it's pumping pretty well at this point. So, but Solana ecosystem, its recent performance has seen it break a 30-day trend of declines that ended after the meme coin market surge that dominated the industry in March. 2024 has been a rather inconsistent year for Solana as a network and as an asset. The network became a home to a plethora of meme coins, specifically newcomers like Dog with Hat, that have had massive impact on the prominence of the blockchain. This meteoric rise led the network to even surpass Ethereum index volume at certain points. However, since March, Solana has been on the downswing. The asset has been on the decline due to an overarching market downturn, but has found some potential to surge amid its performance over the last day. Specifically, Solana has been predicted to reach an all-time high as Sol looks to be reversing course. Data Markets founder Tristan Frizza has projected the asset to surpass its current all-time high of $260. So, can it do that? Well, if we break it down from here, the overarching move was up here. After that move, we saw this downward spiral, if you will, which brought us down into this range. This range was our, we got a reversal off of it. The reversal came right here for starters. We got that bounce, and we got the market correction. The market correction comes down like this, and then boom, now we're in takeoff mode. We've had, this is now 5 out of the last 6 days have been green for Solana, which would indicate that, perhaps the struggles are over. Now, if we get, just like we did over here, a little consolidation in range, then maybe, just maybe, we get a nice little pump off of this. So what we've done is basically back tested the previous high. Then we came in for this previous high. So now what you would be looking for is, and by the way, 786 adjustment, if you will. So let's just say from the impulse move, to give you guys an idea here, from the impulse move at this point, there's that 786 number, which that's the back test number. So what are we looking at from this next move? Well, if we zoom out just a little bit, just to give you guys an idea, I'm not saying this is going to happen, but to give you guys an idea of how that would look if there were something to play out here, then we would be looking at some kind of range here with a high of $460. So Christmas Cypher's in the house. What's going on, man? Good morning, Timski. Crypto Alliance is in the house, and we've got Christmas Cypher. What is going on, my man? So, $460 for Solana does not appear to be out of the way at this point. And by the way, when in doubt, zoom out, of course. So when we bring it back out and bring it back to this area, so we're looking at this on this long term, and we see that Solana didn't hit its all-time high. It got that secondary high from the September from that September pump that it got right there. Came up to this area. So now it's probably ready to break out above this range and get to price exploration mode. With this being it's going to probably pump to the next range from here. And so if it does that, then that's going to be that should be, if you will, that should be their next. Matter of fact, this impulse moves probably from here. So let's do this one more time. Impulse move takes it right there. Now let's take this and let's pop it from here to there ish. Yeah. Anyway, $270 is what I expect is probably going to see happening very, very, very soon. So I'll be watching out for that one. And by the way, if you haven't already, make sure you hit that like button on the way in. But we'll see what happens with Solana going forward. So I do think that entire ecosystem probably on the verge of a big pump. And shout out to Bitcoin for the first time ever, guys. Bitcoin has surpassed $1 billion transactions processed 800 weeks after launch. So the milestone comes at an especially exciting time for the cryptocurrency, which has seen heightened levels of daily transactions for the past year. Plus, ordinals and runes attract more and more activity in the world's first blockchain. The launch of spot Bitcoin ETFs has also led to bullish sentiment for the tokens over the past year. So shout out to Bitcoin for achieving 1 billion total transactions. And then to follow that up, Grayscale Bitcoin Trust spot Bitcoin ETF saw $63 million of inflow on Friday, meaning that it ended a 78-day streak of outflows. And blockchain boneheads doing it to me again. 786 is the most retraced fib, and it's not the golden pocket. However, it is for my brain. From 618 to 786. I don't give a shit what anybody says about 6.5, by the way. Fuck those guys. They're out of their goddamn minds. the 786 is the most retraced to the fib. So for me, that's always going to represent the area. And by the way, I'm going to stick with it as the area and region for that golden pocket. And I'm going to go in and I'm going to go into the Investopedia and I'm going to change it. As soon as I get admin on that goddamn place, I'm changing it from 618 and 0.65 down to 786 because that's going to be probably a bigger range. By the way, it's probably too big of a range, and they'll be like, "Well, you can't do that. Do whatever I want." I'm going to buy goddamn Investopedia and just change the rules. I'll buy Forex too. You know what I mean? All I need, Ben, pump. God damn it. Anyway, so Grayscale Bitcoin ended its 78-day outflow. Now, will that maintain? That's the question. And I don't know if it's going to maintain, but we're here right now, and we're seeing we're seeing this happen. So that's a pretty cool sign that we've had the first reversal. And by the way, January 10, something like that. Like that was the first. You know, they've had outflows every single day so far. Now, most of it's been going into other ETFs, but to see it actually happen, whoo-hoo, means that really is a good sign. And Trail Boss is in here. Thank you for the Valor Bomb. Let's go look at Zelda 2.0. Now, let's Zelda 2.0. God damn. All right, Zelda 2.0. For those of you that are sleeping under a rock right now, holy shit. So, trading at 7.2 cents right now, had a huge run here. Okay, so I'm nervous about I'm gonna say this. I'm nervous about it because what they did was they launched it. It looks like they launched it yesterday, and then they let it sit for a while before they opened up trading. So it was kind of sitting there, and they were filling up the liquidity pool, getting it to get it going, and then all of a sudden they opened up trading right here, and it spiked way up, and now it's got this pattern, which means that most probably you're looking at a continuation of the move. However, I wouldn't say that because what you got here was this spot right here up to here. And now what you're doing is you're sitting around at the area that like this is not retraced at all so far. And it could go up a little bit further. It could just get a little bit of excitement and boom, you know, starts to break out to some higher numbers. But let's face facts, $4 million and $1 million in liquidity, that looks like a gigantic pre-sale to me, okay? Now, it also looks like there's a lot of vested people who are in this pre-sale. If I come over to their website, Zelda2.ai, the long-awaited Zelda Inu upgrade is here. Previous launch of a 300X, and we're back to run it up again. One-of-a-kind, truly transparent token with one core value, helping dogs in need by funding the rescues who save them, staking. Okay, so there's no chance that that this does anything more than a big pump. And I mean, people are not here to invest in making sure dogs are okay. So there has to be some kind of function and use and real function and use. Now, the other thing is there's a 5% buy tax and 5% sell tax. So it's going to be very difficult to increase to keep volume going. So if you got in on whatever this pre-sale was that got us to this point, then I would say that's, and again, you've got all of these different things. These guys have had reasons. 100% lock liquidity, buyback and burns, massive staking, transparent team, CertiK, KYC, confident trading, massive marketing plan, 5% of every transaction is allocated. And look, this sounds great. Nobody wants to pay 10% of what they, look, we're in a market right now where things like Myro, things like Dog with Hat, things like all of everything in the top 100 don't have a big tax on it. So a 5% tax in and a 5% tax out is very prohibitive. So it is possible that it continues on, but in order for you to even make a profit buying right now, then you have to go up to 8 cents just to break even if you buy at 7, because that's 10% upgrade would be 7.7 cents. So you have to go from 7.2, you have to go up to 8 cents in order to even break even. So you're already at the top of the range. What I would think is the best thing is if you like this project, I would wait for it to come into this range right here, which according to Blockchain Bonehead, this entire area from 618 to 786, that's the golden pocket. Now we read that on Investopedia, so that has to be true, or at least I, made a secondary Investopedia where I said that's it. But anyway, that really is, despite no matter what anybody says, that really is kind of the golden pocket of ranges. So, and that's a good reversal area. So what I would be looking for is I would look for a move down here. Now, the other part is, because there's a pre-sale, this is the where you would start DCAing, but it is also possible that it comes down into this range right here, because these things do like to have pump dumps just like that. So when you look at it, you'll see a move towards that downside area. So you might be able to pick this up at a penny. I would start, if I'm going to DCA, I would start to DCA my way around 2.5 cents, maybe 2 cents if you want to be a little bit more risk off. I'd be looking at that for a move. And then if you come down into this range more, this is when I would buy just a little bit more, and then when it reverses, and it will reverse, then you're looking at a move up to probably the 382, which is, you'll see a 0.5 move and a 0.618 move, of course, but the 382 is if it's got a little bit of health. If it's got a lot of health, then it's going to come up to the 236. So there's a 6-7x that you can make almost easily if you just be shrewd enough to ride it down. Now, if you bought in early and you made a nice profit, like it, and if you are, if it did require a vesting process, then I don't know what to tell you about that. But if you can get your money out, your original investment out now, plus a profit of any sort, I would do that, and then I would wait to see what happens with the remaining tokens. Just let it ride, just let the thing ride and see what happens, because that's to me, I mean, it makes sense to me. By the way, if you're not a member of the channel, you should become a member of the channel. It's only $4.99 a month, and it helps me out tremendously. Like, what's wrong with you if you're not a member of the channel? Like, ooh, gross. You know what I mean? Anyway, so that's what I would be looking for. I would be looking for downside momentum to be hitting it. However, again, 4 million market cap and $1 million in liquidity and 5% taxes. There is no goddamn way that you buy at this level. So look for some downside momentum and then maybe look for a reversal. But I'm telling you right now, a tax like this is going to be prohibitive to everybody. That everybody's going to be looking at this like, I don't know about that. So, but that's just honest. Grayscale, anyway, we're moving on from that. The number one altcoin for May, by the way. So we got Arthur Hayes, who's predicted his number one, number two, and number three altcoins for the season. His number one pick for May. He says that he believes that he wants a balanced approach, by the way, advocating for a focus. He suggests keeping an eye on promising altcoins. He says that Solana, Dog with Hat, and Dogecoin are the ones that he thinks are going to have the big gains for this week. He asserts that accumulating important assets during the market correction will help investors yield significant returns when the market stabilizes and begins to climb. He describes his approach as buy in May and go away, highlighting the potential gains for investing in crypto during these summer months. So his number one token is Solana, where he thinks that Solana is going to have a massive and big run. Then he predicts that the number two altcoin for this cycle is going to be Dog with Hat as his number two one for May. And then number three, he thinks that Dogecoin is going to have that big run. And Dogecoin, by the way, coming in right now at that buy zone. Now, of course, this article is a couple days old. Okay. So when we were looking at this before, when this article came out, hold on, he did this interview 4 days ago. 4 days ago, Solana was at $132. Solana currently at $154. Dog with Hat 4 days ago. Dog with Hat 4 days ago was at $2.73. Went up to almost $4 today. And then Dogecoin, which again, 4 days ago, Dogecoin was trading at 13 cents, currently trading at 16 cents right now. So there is he was right about this. There was a massive move. However, hey, we got CoinsChick in the house. She is back. What is going on, lady? So there was a nice big move on each and every one of these. In fact, somebody just mentioned Myro. Duke mentioned Myro 4 days ago. With Myro traded at 13 cents, it went up to 19 cents this morning before retracing back down to 17 cents. So big moves on the horizon for a lot of these different tokens. And to be fair, somebody did point out, and we'll pull it up on the big screen here. Ben is having a move today. They've got an announcement coming today. They've had this. Let's break this out. And let's break that out right there. That's the resistance area. But in the short term, we're daily, so this is short term. But from here to here, it looks like we're about to have a breakout on Bencoin. So it would be nice to see that move finally out of Bencoin. Now, if you notice here, every time it wicks up and it hits, it's coming around this range right here. So there's going to be a move through this range to get it up to a new level. That new level would look something like 86 right here, which would be the next impulse move if there is one. That impulse move would be, and I've got this kind of light right here, but would be that area right there on the impulse move at around 86. And then if it survives the test at that level, which it did not last time, by the way, you can see that right there, did not survive that one. Then you have the next impulse move, which takes it up to 11,048. Now, that would probably put it at around a $10 billion mark or $10 million market cap. So I could see this happening. I think that Ben really feels like it's going to do a 50 million to 100 million market cap very soon, or soon-ish. So there could be that we've got some more excitement coming from Ben Nation over the next little while. So, but again, I'm not partnered with them anymore. So what I'm telling you is not, it's not my hyperbole for blah 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 blah. You know what I mean? Like I don't. I truly think that just because Ben is who he is, that it's going to have that fantastic run, and that if you're holding some Ben at some point, just consider he's going to do some kind of crazy, you know what I mean? It's going to come crazy. And Tech says, get ready to see a big dip on Solana. Stats came out that 80% of the memes are rug. All right, so Tech, I hate to break this to you, but 90% of all memes are rugs, and the 80% that are definite rugs doesn't belie the 10% that the other 50% of that remaining supply that absolutely fail. So, I mean, meme coins are wildly speculative gambling risks to begin with. If they break out successfully and they create some kind of function, for example, Floki broke out and created some sort of function and some sort of use, and now it has a $1.8 billion market cap. Dogecoin is a blockchain. Even though it's not a great blockchain, it is a blockchain. And even though it mints an infinite number of Dogecoin and will never hit $1. By the way, it's not going to hit $1. That would be wild to ever see something like that happen. The amount of capital that it would take for Dogecoin to currently hit $1 is ridiculous, and I just don't think that there's a possibility. Maybe it gets back up. By the way, if Dogecoin had the same market cap that it had when Elon went on stage back in the old days, it would only be like 65 cents at this point, because there's so many more Dogecoin in circulation. It wouldn't go up to like 74 cents anymore. So it would have to be even more. You know what I'm saying? It would have to be even more. So I would be watching Dogecoin for a good move, but it's going to be incredibly complicated and difficult. 3 zeros for SHIB this year. Not at the current level. There's no chance at the current level because they don't burn enough. They don't burn nearly enough supply. But however, they have good trading volume, and if there is some way that they continue to do a lot of burns instead of a little burns, and by the way, here's what you got to remember about SHIB, because we got to move on here. But here's the thing to remember about SHIB. SHIB announced the Shibarium blockchain. Shibarium blockchain was then going to be this new incredible thing that meme coins were going to be built on, and that could very well be the case. The problem is that it's built as an L2 on Ethereum. Ethereum just launched Dencun. The cost of Shibarium was less than 1 penny per transaction already. It was 1/10 of a penny per transaction. Dencun came out, which made it even 10 times cheaper. So now it's 1/100 of a penny for a transaction, which means that SHIB can never burn enough tokens to satisfy people. It's 589 trillion supply, I think, still. So there is no way that they've done enough. So that's created a situation in which the team has gone back and they've looked at it and they said, wow, we really screwed this up because we did this for a long-term sort of scenario that doesn't exist anymore. So now they're going back to the drawing board and they're trying to come up with another big burn that they're about to announce. And they believe that that's going to be a much bigger and more robust sort of burn, but it's already too late. I mean, you've already created this scenario where, you know, all you do is go back to the drawing board over and over and over again. So I think that SHIB is going to pump, but there's no way it's doing 1,000x, because if it drops three zeros, that's a 1,000x, and that is not going to happen. At best, for me, at best, 20x. Just that, and that's got to be the top of the range. Like I can't imagine that any of these are going to go over. First of all, 100 billion is going to be the new paradigm, and if you just consider where some of these lie in their market caps, and you just consider, you know, SHIB is going to be one of the big ones, right? And it's looking right now at a market cap of 14 billion. So if it were to 6x, 7x, if it's 7x's from where it is right now, it would have a $100 billion market cap. Same thing with Dogecoin. If Dogecoin did about a 5x, it would have a $100 billion market cap. The question is which one's going to be there first. But when it does that, it's going to come back down to where it is right about now, because that's the 786 number. I mean, it really is the kind of like it's almost harmony, if you will, that once it does something like that, or once these things do something like that, then boom. And by the way, if you were to go to 100 billion market cap for Dogecoin, that's a 5x from where it is right now. 5x would be 75 cents. So remember, it has to do 25% more market cap in order to just get back to where it was when Elon went on stage. For SHIB, going to 1,000x would be 2.4 cents. There's no fucking way. There's just no fucking way. If it does a 10x, it has a $140 billion market cap. If it does a 100x, it has a $1.4 trillion market cap. Bitcoin doesn't even have a $1.4 trillion market cap right now. It has a 1.2 trillion. And Bitcoin is why people are in crypto, not SHIB. So it's got to be done by burn. So until they announce something, though, and by the way, something to remember from SHIB, something to remember. They've not succeeded in exciting people at any point with these initiatives, not in a sustainable way. Everything they do turns to shit. And that's no disrespect to them. This is a very difficult market. It's a very difficult place to make something magical happen. They will in the bull run. Something will happen in the bull run, and people will overplay it. They will overplay it, but it's still not going to run like you hope it will. It will still run really good. You know, you'll still turn $1,000 into $5,000 or $6,000 or $7,000. You'll turn 10,000 into 70,000. You know what I mean? Like, you'll still get a run, but you're not going to get that magnificent, incredible, life-changing thing that you want. Everybody's going to have to. Everybody would have to burn tons of supply and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is no way. And like Daniel says, and legal aliens in the house. What's going on, my man? Appreciate you coming in. Coin on Brett Wecco to 100. Sold my 250 million SHIB after they flat out lied and deceived it. And there you go. Like, that's the thing right there. You got lied to. You got deceived. It's just crazy what happened with that community. And by the way, I would. So Richard, I don't know what to say about Ben going to $1. That seems like ridiculously impossible to me. However, if I just consider it's at 5 million market cap and it goes 100x from here, then yeah, if it goes 1,000x, that would be a $5 billion market cap. And look, I could see that happening in a crazy bull run with Ben Armstrong at the helm. So I could see 1,000x out of it. You know what I mean? Like, I that actually would be possible. So, you know, I'm not going to bet against that. The one thing that remember, Ben Armstrong promised by the end of 2025, it would be a top 100, even if it's just there for a day. And if you go back to the top 100 right now, that would require number 100 at this point is, where the fuck are we? Number 100 right now is 812 million market cap. So that means that Ben would have to do a 160x. So from today, if Ben Coin did 160x today, then it would be a top 100. Now, it's only going to get worse or better, if you will, moving into the bull run, when we really get into the bull run. So for today, 800 million. 2 months ago, I think that was 1.1 billion. So, again, 200x. Ben Coin needs a 200x just to get where Ben said it was going to be. So bet on it. You know what I mean? I would say that it's probably going to happen. Again, Ben Armstrong, biggest influencer in the space, does all the cool shit that you want from an influencer in the space, and keeps people's attention. So yeah, man, I appreciate you, man. Morgan Barge, do you think ETH is going to run up to 13,000? Well, in fact, if you take the time to zoom out, this is fucking wild. My prediction for Ethereum for the end of this year was exactly $13,000. So if you were here before, and that's the reason that you're bringing that up, then yes, I actually do think that it's going to do $13,000, because I think it's going to do $13,000 by the end of this year. So, and that's a long way up, by the way. That is a long way up. I know that it is, but the way that it's moving right now on this next big impulse, I think we're going to get all-time highs, and then at that point, it's just going to start to run. You know what I mean? How much Ben token does Ben hold? He holds no Ben token. So good try, I guess. I don't know. Is there any dip ahead? Yes, there's going to be a dip ahead. I think so. I think there's still more. We're not done with negative sentiment. I mean, guys, just consider today as one of a litmus test. Today, what you saw was Bitcoin. You saw everything. And look, here's the total market cap. Let me give you total market cap for today on the 1 hour, because it makes sense right here. So we were up just today. We had a nice little run, and then last night the Chinese market came in. Then the Asian market, all the Asian markets, the Middle Eastern markets, and the European markets. Boom, 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 boom. And we pumped up. We were up over $50 billion today. And then the U.S. market woke up at 6 a.m. and shit on everything. In fact, let's, from here down to here was a 3.5% swing in the market. So is there dips still to come? Yeah, there's still dips to come. The interesting thing will be how we respond to each one of these dips. And by the way, if you're ever wondering, what the markets are doing, again, come to your Bitcoin liquidation map. Look at it on a 24-hour just to get an idea of immediate range. But there we go. So you see right here, just a few hours ago, just a few short hours ago, this is what we did. We dipped all the way down to 63,300 because there was a pocket of liquidity sitting in that range. And that was because we spiked it all the way up to 65,500 or 65,300 in order to sweep all of the liquidity out of this range right here. Now, what you would be looking at is a continuation of this downside into 62,500 and then maybe even all the way down to 60,900. So my Bitcoin address says invalid. Oh shit, maybe it does. Give me a few minutes after this. I'll update it. It'll be right in just a little bit. I disconnected everything from, I was doing something for a potential project here on my computer, and before I entered into any agreement or I did anything with this company, I removed all my wallets from my computer. So I don't have a wallet right now. Hold on. Let me, I'm actually going to pin for myself, by the way. I'm going to throw that in here. Ain't this a bitch? All right, there we go. All right, so that's wild, though, by the way. Well, don't send me 1 Bitcoin. I'm not worth that. So, you know what I mean? Like I mean, I'll definitely take Bitcoin from anybody, you know what I mean? But, you know, let's see how that plays out there. There we go. And we're sinking and we're stinking. And there we go. All right. So I'll post it as soon as it pops up. I have to, I have these things linked together. So, you know, when it pops up on my whatever, then I'll post it here in chat. But you're worth more than one. Oh man, I appreciate that. I appreciate that. So one of you assholes send me 1 Bitcoin and let's prove the point. You know what I mean? So anyway, let's get back into it because we got a lot to cover. And god damn it, now I'm getting sidetracked after sidetracked. All right, so this is token info. Just to give you guys an update here. This raised $5.5 million over. This raised $5.5 million. It's a VR crypto. And yeah, Ben and I are friends. So and look, I talked to Ben like I talked to Ben Friday. So you know, like we're still friends. We still talk. I'm just not partnered with them. So you know what I mean? Like I just he's doing his own thing right now, trying to build his stuff up and trying to get all of that, you know, trying to get his, you know, everything together. So yeah, we're still friends. We're still on good terms. I'm just not partnered with them anymore. That's all that's changed. Anyway, so this is called the fifth scape. It raised $5.5 million. Crypto analysts are saying that it could explode. Now, this is a sponsored ad. So when they say this is saying it could explode this year, I don't know that. But it's called, the dollar sign on it is 5scape. But it has $5.5 million that it's raised so far. The use case and first mover advantage of the VR gaming space have fueled excitement with a total raise recently surpassing 5.5 million, and top analysts are also taking note. For those who've missed the crypto AI revolution, the Fifthscape presale presents a second opportunity to invest early in a pioneering use case. Its incorporation of VR into gaming has sparked tremendous excitement. Here's the article right here. And she's got a VR headset on and big jugs, so of course we want to use her. Decrypt Crypto, a prominent market commentator with over 50,000 YouTube subscribers, recently published a video where he speculated that Fifthscape could hold a 100x potential. I don't know if that was a partner thing. I don't know if that, you know, I know that this one is a partner thing. So, you know, the fact that they're talking about Fifthscape seems pretty interesting, and the fact that it's raising a bunch of capital right now. If you guys want to check this out, Fifthscape is what it's called. So do your own research and figure this out for yourself. But we're way behind, so we got to move on. Now, in bad news, in what you might be calling absolutely fucking wild, Robinhood just got a Wells notice from the SEC. The SEC intends to file an enforcement action on Robinhood for allegedly selling securities. Robinhood, in the meantime, has issued a statement that says, after years of good faith attempts to work with the SEC for regulatory clarity, including our well-known attempt to come in and register, we are disappointed that the agency has decided to issue a Wells notice related to our U.S. crypto business. We firmly believe that the assets listing on our platform are not securities, and we look forward to engaging with the SEC to make clear just how weak any case against Robinhood Crypto would be on both the facts and the law. And let's be very frank about this. The SEC keeps taking L's, but they keep going after all of these different people. Their enforcement actions are basically enforcing compliance through legal process, and they're governing this space with that. So this is not going to end very, very well, again, for the SEC in this regard. Robinhood doesn't trade that many cryptos, so there's no circumstance in which you could reasonably expect that Robinhood is guilty of anything malicious. The SEC, by proxy, is the malicious entity in this. And what they're going to do is the SEC and Gary Gensler is going to he's going to get his eyes really big, because they're already like really big. Like, Jesus Christ, that guy look like a goon. It's that goblin, right? I mean, can we agree that Gary Gensler lives under a bridge somewhere? Like, he's a goblin. Jeez, or is that trolls? Oh yeah, it's trolls under the bridge. Anyway, Gary Gensler looks like a goblin from World of Warcraft. You know what I mean? And could you imagine that Gary Gensler comes to you and he says, "Yeah, we're just going to try to we just need to make sure that you're doing everything by the law." And why does he sound like a Muppet in my brain? And do I sound like a Muppet? Did I sound? Well, I don't know what's going on here, but anyway, Gary Gensler, wild-eyed, crazy man. That belies. He's the worst commissioner the SEC has ever had. I'll just put it that way, because he's trying to he's trying to manipulate Gary Gollum. That's it. God damn it, he looks like Gollum. Ain't that a bitch? But anyway, so they were subpoenaed last year, Robinhood, by the SEC. Didn't lead to an enforcement action, but it is absolutely wild. And by the way, there's fucking two of them. There's Gary Gensler and like Larry Gensler or something like, I don't know what his fucking brother's name is, but they're twins. There are two of them, and they both look like that. Like, oh my God, I thought one of them would at least have hair and a life and not look like a golem. But here we are, and they both, like, how do you just like, how bad do your genes have to be that's where you end up? You know what I mean? Like, fuck my life. Whew. So shout out to Robinhood. Robinhood is going to fight. Now, what I told you guys before is that there is a company now. It's called the Info Sharing and Analysis Center, ISAC. And it's founded by Justine Bone, a cybersecurity expert whose research led to recalls of half of the faulty pacemakers. Now, she says crypto now has a neighborhood watch against attacks. So the cryptocurrency industry, Bones is the executive director of Crypto ISAC, the industry's first information sharing and analysis center, essentially a hub for cybersecurity, a leader in crypto security and cryptography. She is a CEO of medical security term MedSec, where her work led directly to the US FDA recalling 500,000 pacemakers that were susceptible to hacking. The device manufacturer Abbott later issued a firmware patch to patch the security holes. The full roster of Crypto ISAC founding members who provided financial support for the organization will be revealed on May 29 at CoinDesk's Consensus 2024 in Austin, Texas. Up until now, there's been a Crypto ISAC, and some people are surprised when they learn that. So a few years ago, some cybersecurity companies who were then joined by some other heavy hitters in the crypto industry recognized this gap and started organizing. About $1.7 billion was lost to hackers on crypto platforms in 2023, according to a blockchain sleuth from Chainalysis. ISACs were introduced as nonprofit organizations in the late 1990s to facilitate and legitimize information sharing around cybersecurity. The unveiling of Crypto ISAC, which has been several years in the making, is something of a badge of honor as it joins the crypto industry with many other established verticals that use information sharing to protect critical infrastructure such as healthcare, retail, the financial sector, and automotive industry. Bone describes an ISAC as a trusted intermediary that sort of sits in the middle of the conversation between security issues. So there is a possibility that we're looking at a fix to some of these problems. Now, fundamentally, that doesn't change that doesn't change the fact that you would have to give up a little bit of your decentralization, if you will, to participate in this. But I say that thinking that that's how it's going to be, but I don't know for sure. We'll see whether or not this holds up. But for the meantime, remember Crypto ISAC, because hell yeah. Now, Jesus is Lord grift continues on Luna Classic. So if you are not a fan of Luna Classic, then you might want to close your ears and like rub one out or whatever it is that you do when you're not paying attention. But so there is a validator called Jesus is Lord, and he also has a second validator called Jesus is Lord 2. Which is, and by the way, he's funded by All Nodes. All Nodes also voted no as well on this proposal, and this proposal was to prevent double validators. Now, I agree that there shouldn't be double validators, but there's also a limit on validators and stuff like that. And what they're doing is they're consolidating power, and that's leading to a centralized Luna Classic. So if you are concerned about Luna Classic and you are using Jesus as Lord or you're using anybody who's using all nodes currently, I would suggest unstaking from them and using somebody who is a little more reliable. Now, all nodes I don't think is the bad actor, by the way. I think all nodes is just worried about themselves and the perpetuation of whatever money they make for whatever it is that they do. So you can rent your validator from all nodes, and they don't care how you vote. They could care less about it. But the important part to it is, if you do this, then what you are is you're helping centralization. So if you're staking with people who are voting against your better interest, then you need to unstake with them and stake with a validator who you know and you trust, that's voting the way that your conscience is. I'm not telling you how to do it, but I think that you should at least consider doing something along the lines of, like, not doing it, if you will. With those guys. So now, when it comes to volume on chains, let's check out what is going on over here. 24-hour volume on Ethereum is at 1.6 billion. Solana 1.03 billion. BSC 483 million. Arbitrum 338 million. Base 186 million. Optimism is moving up 77 million, and Thorchain 66 million. Thorchain incredibly undervalued in my opinion at this point. So I would be looking for, some of these things we're going to start seeing a lot more activity coming in a lot of these chains as we get further into this bull run. As we start to look down here, you can see that, some of these just don't have a lot of activity or don't report a lot of activity. And when you look at the total value locked on these chains here, Ethereum, Tron, Solana, BSC, Arbitrum, all the same players are the ones that have the most total value locked up in them, and the same for the value. There's not a whole, not a whole lot of differential right there. Thoughts on Rakoff, as we call it. I don't right now. I do in my Luna Classic videos. Rakoff is, for those of you who don't know, the Rakoff token is a token on the Luna Classic blockchain, and it was jokingly like Jed Rakoff, Rakoff the Jackoff, if you will. Who is the 82-year-old octogenarian dirtbag who is siding with the SEC on everything the SEC says against case law. And the important part is Judge Annalisa Torres voted or decided on specifics in their case, and they are ignoring that. And Rakoff is ignoring her rulings in order to establish his own precedent in case law and pay no attention to what's going on. So, I as far as it goes, it's a meme token, and I think that it's part of an ecosystem, by the way, which I think we covered twice so far. And if you're interested in it, go look at any video that I have from Luna Classic with Rakoff token on the cover, and you can see exactly what they're all about. I think that all of these, including Food Token, I think that Terra Tridium, I think that all of the tokens in the Luna Classic ecosystem are set to absolutely explode as soon as retail comes back. And by the way, we are working on a repeg right now, and we are working on a new burn initiative. So there's a lot going on in the background that you don't see and you don't hear about every day. I'm basically the portal for that information. So if you're interested, make sure you watch the Luna Classic videos. Anyway, so let's move on from there, and let's check out what do we think is going to happen over the course of today. Well, $26 billion just came out of the market, because the U.S. market is a bunch of low-life dirtbags that steal from every other country. I'm sorry, what I meant to say was America, F yeah, or whatever people say. So anyway, here is where we are. Here is what is happening. We saw a nice dump. The market absolutely dumped after a huge pump. And now here we sit at down $27 billion on the day. What news did we get that would cause something like that? I don't know. Nothing really. So what do I expect to see happen at this point? I would expect to see a move from the 100 MA, since we are already down close to this range. I'm expecting to see more downward pressure from the US market, and then eventually a couple hours from now, around noonish right here, it would make sense. Let's delete that and try this shit one more time. So a couple hours later, right here around 12 or 1, which is where the US market tends to reverse, we would see a reversal coming back up into probably around this sort of range right here, which is the volume range right there. at this spot. And you can tell that because there's the volume node right there saying that that's probably the spot that Bitcoin is going to move to. Then we'll see that at, what does it look like on Bitcoin? It would look like 63,700-ish. So we'll probably see a move down into that range. Then we'll probably see a pump back up. And again, it'll look like, probably coming down to the bottom of this sort of area right here, which is the liquidity zone right now. And if we look at it on a 3-day, there might even be a very specific node. There it is, right there, 62,270. Looks like the biggest spot of the node. Now, it could wick its way down in here, maybe even wick down into the 61,006. Most likely not. Most likely stops around 62,300, 62,200, 62,000, basically. So we're looking at that sweep down there because what we've got is we got volatility issues now. So that means that the next move would be an upside momentum move, right? So the upside momentum move is now going to be at the 67,000 range. So I would expect to move to 62,000. When we get 62,000, go long, and then we're looking at 67,000 as the next impulse move before we get back up here into the 72,000 range, where there's billions and billions and billions of dollars just kind of sitting, waiting to be captured. So this is, when you look at this in the longer term, this is the longer term move right here. When you look at it on this longer term here, then it makes no sense for the market to come back down because there's no money sitting down at the bottom. The money is sitting all the way up here. There's billions upon billions upon billions, which will keep that thing pumping and pumping and pumping. In the meantime, all of these memes here, GameStop up 28% on the day. Zelda Boba up 11%. Della Boba just continuing to impress, getting back to where it was before. Ben is up 7.5%, up to 59. The rest of it, Brett down 14%, Bro down 16%, EXVG down 11%, Bonk down 7%. All these guys are going to reverse. They're going to have big reversals. I'm going to be looking at another play on dog with hat on my long positions, maybe, depending on how it plays out. It looks to me like, once whatever this market dip happens, again, I think about noon today. Noon is when I'm going to look to enter a position for a long. And by the way, I'm only gonna do like $50. I'm not doing a lot, but something like that. So anyway, guys, thank you so much for tuning in. I appreciate each and every one of you that you take the time to come over here and check me out. Does not fall on deaf ears or eyes. And thank you so much. And by the way, I am now annoyed as shit by my background. I did all this stuff to get all these punk rock things, and we got Iggy Pop up here, and we got Anti-Flag, and we got Zebra Head, Sugar Cult, we got Bouncing Souls, the Buzzcocks. I went through all of this stuff to get all of these punk rock stickers and shit like that. And by the way, I have more stickers here. I've got Bitcoin stickers. I got tons of Bitcoin stickers I was going to throw up. Now I don't like all the background stuff. I like the black background better. So son of a bitch. You know what I mean? Anyway, I'll work through my shit. You guys work through your shit. And remember, this is not financial advice. I'm always right. Thank you so much for tuning in. And now it's time to pay the bills. Cryptonomy.finance is your venture capital investment fund. If you're looking to launch a project and you need seed capital, contact Cryptonomy.finance today. They have a $74 million investment fund, and they processed over $10 billion in the last 5 years. So far, guys, on my flexible account, I've earned 0.001 Bitcoin. On my fixed account, this is where it gets interesting. We're going to make another deposit here, 0.5 Bitcoin. We're going to do this for 12 months again. We've created another staking protocol with a half a Bitcoin for the next 1 year. Checking my Ethereum holdings, you can see that by the end of this vesting process, I will have 3.23 Ethereum more than the 3 that I put in. And the most important thing, gentlemen, ladies, the Launchpad. The Launchpad is still producing significant yields on every launch. My accrued interest so far, a little bit over $109,000. Can't stress to you enough, guys. Check out Cryptonomy.finance today if you need venture capital, or if you just want to